Looks like we're speaking to Yue Tianjin. So let's go do that. The unnamed sword is a treasure which has been passed down through our family for generations. It was forged by combining the divine sword Morning Glory and the ancient sword Shadowban, and could break through any magical structure. So why is it called the unnamed sword when you had two really cool names that you could have, like, built on? You could have had Shadow Glory. I mean, how does that not sound like a cool name? Missed opportunity, dude. I mean, I can't really blame you. It's your ancestors who failed to name it adequately. And you still don't tell me, how does your family own a castle? I'm still bemused by that point. So that means that even the strongest magical barrier can't protect us. Indeed. No wonder the magical protection of the lunar crown tree was powerless against the sword. Who's next? Alani. I just heard from the Valley Master that Venerable Alani appears to be looking for an elixir to treat the lunar crown trees. Trees, plural, there's only one. Let's see if she has found a method. And that text needs to stay longer if she's not going to verbalize it. When the Master left us, she left behind countless texts. They have been accumulated and arranged by scholars over the last 900 years. Now there are as many ancient scriptures in the Langhuan Pavilion as there are stars in the sky. It's not easy finding records of the devastators and negative qi in such a short time. Shen-chan, go to the Langhuan Pavilion and ask the scholar Chang Zuefeng for clues. Indeed. I can definitely tolerate looking at her now. it's tolerable. Hey! Surprise attack. I don't really know how weapon tactics and surprise attack are names for spears. What's the difference? It's for phalanx, not for current mastery. Oh, and for general. Okay, the appearance will change. Well, too bad I've got a skin on, because that's not going to work. Perception level 1.2. Do I lose? Oh, I lose that, but I gain fortune and power. Does that mean I now have max PvE gear level increased to 1, whatever that's supposed to mean? So now I need to sell that. It sells for 2 silver. PvE sealstone. A magnificent stone decorated with embossed runes, required as basic material for forging. Ah. Gotcha. Can be looted in all those dungeons, which I still haven't investigated. And then we need 3 of those, but I don't remember what I got it from. Alright, who wants us next? Go. Oh no, we're just going. Okay. Go to the Langhuan Pavilion and ask Chang Zuefeng how the lunar crown tree can be healed. Oh, well, this way. My bad. G. Okay, she stopped and started. Natural History Academy Merchant. Hi, could I sell this to you? Thanks. I don't really need your treasure map collection. I appreciate the offer though. And all of this seems really expensive. I don't have a gold to my name, let alone 98 gold. You wouldn't perchance have an extra bag to increase my storage, would you? Yeah, I didn't think so. Thought it was worth asking. Hello, Chang Zuefeng. You're a lot younger than I expected. Devastators. Negative chi. Second shelf on the left, third compartment, volume number 5. Check in the 5th chapter. You spend way too much time here. What an outstanding memory. Again, you spend way too much time here. So much for there. Master Juan Zhang's journey to the west. The country of Jiangju has a long and storied history. It has produced many wise scholars and established a custom of doing good deeds and ensuring justice. In the past, we didn't have any contact with the country, and its territory does not border on the Middle Kingdom. The classic work Mountains and Seas makes no mention of it, and neither does the chapter on foreign envoys. Master Juan Zhang regrets that he hasn't been to Zhiyuan. When he was growing up, What? So the country of Chanshu has scholars, and you didn't have any contact with Chanshu. And Master regrets that he hasn't been to this other place. I thought you were going to... Okay, that just sounds weird. When he was growing up, he thought about Buddha's path and wanted to visit the deer park. And so he pulled on his robe to go to the land of purity. It was his dearest wish. At a time when there was a general mood of honesty towards the west, and at a time of year when the climate favoured journeys to the east. He started his journey with his lead stick in hand, in the 3rd year of Zhen Guang's reign. Protected by his ancestors, he crossed several countries with diverse customs and survived many dangers. He suffered scorching heat and freezing cold. Have you guys ever heard of paragraphs? Passing through many places before he reached his destination. When we speak of the search for the truth, it depends on whether or not one can see the difference between the theories of emptiness and existence. The research of the sacred teachings depends on whether or not one has heard of the teaching of birth and death. Doubts about the sea of truth must be resolved so that all living beings might awaken from the stream of illusion. Thus the scriptures are hidden, no word is exhausted, and no object is left unseen near the holy relics. This whole entire section says absolutely nothing. It's just words for words' sake. After travelling for many years, he returned home. He reached Chang'an in the 1st month of the 19th year of Zhen Guang's reign. He brought with him over 650 books, which he translated into Chinese by imperial decree. Master Juan Zhang, I'm probably butchering that, personally visited 110 countries, and how are there that many in foot length and foot distance? And learned about a further 28 countries. Some of them are mentioned in the historic records of earlier dynasties. Others are still unknown to us today. All of them are influenced by the spirit of harmony and employ the emperor's favour. They have paid homage to him and acknowledged his authority, and they have walked mountain paths to pay him tribute. I find that hard to believe that these countries who have never associated us with us before, all of a sudden are being so magnanimous to our king, and oh, he's so glorious, we must pay him tribute. I highly doubt that. The envoys were entertained so well at court that they clapped their hands and laughed. We must consult ancient books to learn about their industries, local customs, geography, and what conditions there are like. And what conditions there are like makes no sense. These days we can also ask older people. Although these countries are far away, they appear here before our very eyes. What on earth does this have to do with the Devastators and where they came from? Oh, that's not the one I was supposed to read. About to say that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Old writings. This is going to make more sense. That was just a generic thing. Plague Goddess's biography. In ancient times, the pillars which upheld the sky collapsed. Light chi and dark chi blended in the ensuing chaos. Large quantities of dark chi emerged from the ground, and a deity appeared in its midst. The goddess was deeply mysterious. Very little is known about her to this day. All anyone knows is that she is called Jiegao, and some people also call her the Plague Goddess. Jiegao detested humans from birth. She retreated to the solitude of Yin Mountain, where she is still said to reside today. Even the gods of Light Chi did not realize Jiegao existed for a long time. The Plague Goddess is moody and unpredictable, and she doesn't care about other beings, not even her own followers. But she likes to play pranks and experimenting with human nature, and so she grants her followers supernatural powers and watches them torture other humans or destroy themselves for her own amusement. Jiegao's prehistoric worshippers, including humans and spirits filled to dark chi. Filled to dark chi? What do you mean filled with dark chi? Were willing to be treated this way as Jigao's powers allowed them to practice cultivation. Their loyalty, however, meant nothing to the Plague Goddess, and once she had grown bored of playing with them, she abandoned her living toys. Without the goddess's guidance, some of them were unable to withstand the dark chi and went mad. The stronger among them developed different types of skills, and various factions emerged over generations. The Nuowu sect is particularly noteworthy. The Nuowu are followers of Jiegao, and were among, oh, that dress is so pretty, the first students of Dark Chi. In later generations, some of them became priests of the Plague Goddess. Some of them became priests of the Plague Goddess, and their descendants still pray to her. The Nuowu were a big tribe in prehistoric times, but vanished after the cataclysmic shift of heaven and earth, and most of their skills were forgotten. These days, there are only isolated tribes that still worship the Plague Goddess. If there are any Nuowu witches left, that's where they'll be found. Well, that was far more useful. What about this? It basically told us... Oh, apparently this is supposed to tell us. Both the negative chi and the devastators seem to be connected to the Plague Goddess. I should head back and tell the Venerable Lani. Anecdotes, Volume 3. Well, we missed Volumes 1 and 2. There was a fisherman in Fuzhou whose wife bore a son in the first month of the year. The son was born with a birthmark which resembled a burn. His parents took pity on him and called him Heavenly Fire. Heavenly Fire was always different, even as a child. He dreamed every night. People always called him Chenzhao in his dreams. He always cried when he awoke. The family consulted a learned Confucian scholar about the matter. They knew that Chenzhou was a famous city in the Central Plains, more than 2,000 miles away. Many years ago, it had been burned to the ground in a war. Now the city is a mass grave and home to the souls of those who died unjustly. The family thought an evil spirit had possessed Heavenly Fire and invited a Taoist expert to exorcise it. The Taoist expert chanted a mantra. Gaunt skeleton, you are naught but evil. Autumn river in the moonlight, old trees on the bluff. Whenever he chanted this, Heavenly Fire cried loudly, and his voice keened like sharp silk. How do you get sharp silk? It's one of the softest fabrics possible. That's a weird analogy. Until he coughed up blood. The scene repeated for 3 days. Confounded and shocked, the Taoist expert returned defeated. Later, Genren Nanxun, that's the lady with the one eye, traveled to this place and encountered Heavenly Fire. During the long walk, the Genren... Is Genren her title? Although, no, apparently Genren Nanxun is a male. I could have sworn it was the lady. So who the hell is it? Oh my gosh, they throw so many names at me and so many characters. I cannot keep them straight. Apparently it's a dude. But it still remains the question, is Genren a title and not a name? Because it says the Genren. Suddenly looked astonished. His young servant asked what was the matter. The Genren replied that Heavenly Fire was the reincarnation of one of his former students who had done evil deeds to harm others and himself. With those words, the master took off his mask and gave it to Heavenly Fire. When Heavenly Fire saw his scarred face, he was unafraid. The Genren pressed a finger and knew that Heavenly Fire had lost his 100 years of cultivation, was exhausted and far from reaching immortality in this life. That's the end. So the Genren plucked the 5 strings of his zither and played a song. Well, the lady with one eye is a bard. Then he left. From that day forth, Heavenly Fire had no more nightmares. How did he lose his 100 years of cultivation, though? That's a hard thing to do. A really hard thing. Oh, you've got the awesome new mount. You know what? I'm going to do the same thing. I don't like this whole flying on a stick. Give me that mount. I will spend good money for you. Bye. Okay, it's not in my inventory. Is it in my mail? Yeah, but how do I access... Ah! Goodbye, levitating sword. Although, why I bother having a mount in... Hold on. If I press that, who am I going to mount? Yeah, that's what I thought. How do I change who I'm mounted on? Is there a mount tab? No. So how do I just not press T? I have to press F1 instead? That seems silly. There's got to be a way to tell which mount you want to use by default. There's no like tabs or anything. No, inventory, biography, mission. And that's there, which I don't really know what that is. Crafting. Ugh. Okay, this is really elaborate. Book of Aeons is the friendship. Cards. No idea. Avatar brings us back there. Overview starts collections. Mounts? Thought that might be it. No, it is. So how do I tell it to default? Although interesting that my... Huh. Is the sword just bound by keybind to T? And therefore you just need to use your other buttons instead. I think so. I think that must be the go. Oh man, it is magnificent. What are you? A black flame chillin. Oh my god, you are amazing, can I just say? You are just glorious. Are there any other texts to read? No. When Patriarch Qixia is sitting in the city, he wouldn't dare to disturb Taihua, even if there were 100 times more evil spirits. Unfortunately, if the two masters and Heshua and Zheng Yang are still around, it's not... I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I'm gonna just leave. What the hell? I'm looking at its feet and listening to the sounds. That is the weirdest sound ever. Weird. Hey, isn't that the... Are you saying to me? Are you insinuating that I'm the little boy? You're a little gender confused, dear. I hit F. I hit F. I hit F. What is this? Plague goddess. And the blight beast on top of that? It's a global conflagration of 70 years ago repeating itself? I love how they just use words. And it's just like... Those words don't actually make sense in the English language together. Global conflagration? Like, it doesn't actually make sense. You can extrapolate what you think it's meant to mean. I have no idea what they were talking about instances, because that makes no sense. Instances is only be used in games to mean a version of the world that's just temporary and is just there for you to complete your quest, and then once you leave it, it doesn't exist. That's an instance. And like dungeons, sometimes you can call them instances because they're usually separate from the main world. So I don't know what they were talking about instances in that context. There's just, in those magical formations, the way that they were phrasing the sentences sounded really weird. It doesn't correlate in the context correctly into English. It just sounds weird. Where are the others? The Grand Master and the Grand Summoner have already set off into the underworld. The underworld? Why? Themselves to find a cure for the Lunar Crown Tree. And Lieutenant Yue, he said he wanted to capture Hao Xiang, and then a moment later he vanished. Hey, this is Kunwuzi, right? I don't know who she is, but they look related. Who's she? Is she your handmaiden? I don't know. Oh, Lieutenant Yue has no patience with this business. He's been slighted by his best friend, no less. Of course he has no patience. Oh, there's something else. You tell Alani about the blade heart. She ponders, and her expression changes. Oh yeah, she looks real angry. Ooh, angry Lalani. That doesn't sound good. The blade heart has been damaged for years, and we're right in the middle of a major war. Its soul force is unstable, and I fear that we won't stabilize it in time. If we don't stabilize it in time, it will disappear completely. Why is my blade heart not complete? It doesn't sound like anyone else's blade heart had any issues, so why is mine having drama? And who else has a blade heart? I have not yet been able to distinguish who amongst these randos has a blade heart within them. Oh, her expression just changed. Do any of them have a blade heart, or are they just special because they're good at what they do and she's a spirit? But we must be able to do something. Oh, look at that face. Luckily, you're already here in Cloudrise. That shouldn't be too difficult. This panda next to she's a panda spirit? Hi, panda spirit. Oh, you're not talking about her. You're talking about Kunwuzi. Ah. Excuse me. I mean, Master Kunwuzi. Actually, can you repeat that? I didn't realize you were going to say his name. If I'd known you were going to say his name, I would have been listening to hear the pronunciation. Because I still don't know how to say the bloody thing. He's a master swordsmith and knows the three swords very well. He must be able to help you avert this disaster. I'm sorry, what? He must be able to help me? You hear that, Kunwuzi? You must. Not even might or may, and, you know, see what you know. You must be able to help me. The spirit has decreed it so. Thank you. Even though he hasn't agreed to do that. 3 old sword fellows. You've got some gear. What's this? Thousand Cliffs brooch. We don't have a brooch. Master Ceremony relic. Star Sea. Can you stop flapping your wings in my face? Receive 200 chi by developing pet. I don't know what pet energy is. Just like I don't know what golden shell is. Okay, well my physical strength goes up, which is nice. So, sure, we'll equip that. PvE gear increased. Huzzah! Alright. Sujie. Sword spirits. And then there's... What are those? What are these symbols above their head? Does that mean vendor, or does it mean I can speak with them? Because they look like vendors. This is pretty though. What's this? Can you tell me what this is? If I jump down there, am I going to die? Because I certainly can't get back out. He looks at you and shakes his head slowly. Hey! That's offensive. Venerable one, what do you mean? You're scaring me. All you can do is sigh and say nothing? The blade ancestor won't. The blade heart fragment has been weakened for many years and cannot be fully united with your soul. Now the blade heart's soul force is exhausted and it has sunk deep into your consciousness. If you don't get it back as soon as possible, it will disperse completely. What can we do about that? It is just a small matter as long as Genren Chisha is willing to take action. But Chisha's whereabouts are unknown. She's been missing for a number of days now. Oh, that's right. We could call on Jian. What's the name? Jian Genren's help. So the name Genren is used a lot. Have you forgotten that he's been traveling? I do not like your voice actor. Have you forgotten that he has been traveling for a long time and hasn't been heard from a while now? Your face is cute. Why can't I get your face? Oh, you two. Moji Suje. That makes this matter a challenge. He blinks at Lalani, yet he blinks and rubs his wrist. Gender confusion. Alright. Zhang, meditate for a while first. Moji Suje and I will help you to stabilize the blade heart so that it doesn't become scattered. It's really hard trying to talk and listen at the same time. That'd be... Thank you, Master. Still don't know how to pronounce your name. Kunwuzi and the sword spirit. Well, it wouldn't be Z, it'd be Wuji. Kunwuji. Yeah? Oh, we got something else. Certain items are required for this mission. Oh. 1,000 Cliffs Dragon Rain. It's a rider relic, whatever that is. And crit hit physical damage increased. Click on the item symbol on the left hand side of this. You want me to meditate? Meditate in front of Kunwuji so that so that he helps you hold the blade heart together. Okay. Am I close enough to him? Did that work? Yes. After the treatment, as Master Kunwuji, instead of ask, about the blade heart ancestor's condition. I can't tell at this point if they're just careless typos or if someone just has issues with their language. How do you feel? Frickin' radiant. I feel much better, but I am still unable to feel the voice of the blade heart ancestor. That's because she told you not to bother her. You were contaminated with so much negative chi in the Valley of 100 Grasses. You should count yourself lucky that it doesn't scatter immediately. And you still expect it to romp around happily. Negative chi? I just read in the book of the Langhuan Pavilion that negative chi is associated with the plague goddess. In other words, the blade heart ancestor's illness is very serious, and even Master Kunwuji is unable to help him. That was a female voice. Hello. So much gender confusion in Asian games. Of course, the master can help him. It's just that the spell to get rid of the negative chi... Again, he looks at Kunwuji. You're female. Ah. I know it's an alpha, but if you've already translated things, one assumes you're not going to go back and look at that text. So many errors. He nods. It requires a lot of valuable ingredients. Luckily, some of them are stored in Cloud Rise. You can return to Yaotian Palace and ask Tang Kang for these ingredients. That will save you a lot of time and effort. I don't know who Tang Kang is. So what are these ingredients? 1 red flame stone, 5 pieces of phoenix breath jade, and 100 grams of phoenix scale powder. Alright, I remember that. Lady, I've already forgotten every single one of those ingredients, but let's hope you've got a better memory than me. Once you've gathered all the ingredients, come and find me on the Terrace of the Hanging Sword. Mojie and Sujie, you come back with me to prepare everything. What are you preparing? You don't have the ingredients. Solid blade heart. Is a stabilized blade heart going to give me my class? Just out of curiosity. Blood Ruvia Merchant. He sells stuff, I don't know what they are. Cool. And you guys? Deal barterer. See the quality of my goods for yourself. Equipment for duel without writs of the continents, whatever that is. Writ of the continent. My equipment is among the best in Cloudrise. Is it like a PvP fight? I don't know. What makes Major dare to invade Taihua Mountain, followed by the Valley of 100 Grasses? I heard from the master that she was born into the Lingyu tribe on the East China Sea, and that her husband was the large demon Huangyu, who was suppressed in the instance. What is an instance? Event exchange trader. Chin League merchant. You sound normal compared to all the others. I don't even know what any of this stuff is. What is this? History. I've got to buy history? No, it's a talisman. Huh. Students use refining talismans to bless weapons and equipment and to increase their power. I'm sure the game will, oopsies, 100% explain that to me at some point in time. Right? Totally, 100%. It won't. These games never do. Ah, you're Tangkan, Cloudrise Deacon. Why does everybody look at me and do that? What does that mean? Are these things so difficult to get hold of? Our Cloudrise has existed for over 900 years already. You will never find rarities more easily than here. But you're asking for 3 things at once. I'm afraid that Skinflint Yanfei won't be too pleased. 1, I don't know what the fuck a skinflint is. 2, who is Yanfei? They just keep throwing names at me like I'm supposed to know who these people are. Alright, I'll write him a letter and explain everything in detail. Take the letter to the stash and hand it to Yanfei. Whether or not he helps you is entirely down to your luck. Take the letter to the stash. What stash? Great, thank you. I have no idea what I'm doing. Treating the symptoms, not the cause. Letter to Yanfei achieved. Take Tang Khan's letter to the Lotus Terrace and find the warehouse keeper Yanfei. What? Huh? What does me having symptoms have to do with the warehouse? Am I getting the stones from this person? I'm so confused. Excuse me? I don't know if it's the ping or what, but she has trouble starting to run. She gets caught on things. When do I get to go to my training pavilion? Oops. Because that's where I want to go. I want to learn how to use my class better. Oopsie, sorry, that was disrespectful. That is totally not the right button. You. Lei Yang, Ying Mao ticket exchanger. Don't know what that is. Hi. Are you giving me something? If you get sick of carrying so much stuff around with you, you can store it with me temporarily. I mean, I've got crap on me. So, you can have... Really? Why? Oh, it's tied to your character. Can I at least put it in my stash? Okay, I can at least put it on my stash. Level 19 is a long way away. We'll worry about that later. That's G, not F. That bloody Tang Kang always keeps getting me in trouble. He knows that I hold Venerable Fei Guang in great esteem. Who's Fei Guang? Yan Fei. Who's Fei Guang? I don't know. If the Moonsword Bladeheart is in trouble, how could I stand by and do nothing? Was Fei Guang the previous owner of the Moonsword Bladeheart? But these 3 things you're asking for are no ordinary things. That really makes me... to hell with it. Who else would use them anyway? But I'm only loaning them to you. You must promise to bring them back if at all possible. Aren't they going to be consumed by whatever I'm doing? You have my word. Though we did say if at all possible. Ooh, that tree's behind me is very lovely. I'll remind you of that if necessary. Okay, start by taking the red flame stone. You can get the phoenix scale powder and the phoenix breath jade from the weaponsmith King Hui. Ask her whether she'll give you any. King Hui? King Hui? Weird name. Thank you, Venerable Master. I'll go to her right now. Is he really a Venerable Master? That seems like a bit of an overstatement for someone who's just an inventory manager. 2 more ingredients.